And welcome back. Football is where we begin. There's once again a butting of heads between Phoenix Academy head Craig Butler and the JFF, which might have contributed to the absence of Leon Bailey and John Whisper Richards from the Reggae Boys Copa America squad. Both Butler and Dennis Chung sought to clear the air in an interview on Hits 92 FM's Sports Explosion with Oral Tracy on Thursday morning. Renardo Brown reports.
Bailout. Less than 5 minutes after the Reggae Boys squad was named to include Leon Bailey, the Aston Villa winger took to social media with two telling words: misleading information. Oblivious to this post was head coach Hamir Hallgrimson, who at the time was expressing his delight in having Bailey back from his self-imposed exile.
So the talk was between his agent and the JFF, so I would like to give a lot of credit to Greg and to Mr. Chung. So they sorted out whatever was the issue between him and the JFF.
Bailey's post was backed up by his agent Craig Butler, who says Bailey's position on taking a break from the national team has not changed. Prior to Wednesday night, Butler met with Jamaica Football Federation General Secretary Dennis Chung and a third party believed to be PFJL Chairman Chris Williams. During the meeting, Butler made 5 requests. First, a review of player contracts to address matters of security, long-haul travelling and rooms. According to Chung, who was speaking on Hits 92 FM Sports Explosion, the request for a personal room was not an issue. However,
the second thing he said to me, well, what about security for Bailey? I said, well, as far as I know, COPA will provide a security officer. And I said, Bailey wants, he can carry his personal security, but we cannot provide individual securities for each player, right? So, well, what happened when a reporter pushes a mic in his face? I said, that's an arrangement for the management team to make in terms of access to players.
Following the meeting, Chung followed up with Butler.
He called me and asked me if Leon could be included for the game.
Yes.
And I said, have you addressed the concerns? He said, no. So I said, and immediately I said, goodbye, and hung up the phone. I then get a message from national coach saying Mr. Chung has asked him to speak with me. Out of respect for the coach, I went to the meeting.
Butler says, however, no assurances were given to include either Bailey or John Whisper Richards in the Reggae Boys squad.
No, I did not. And there's a trail, a paper trail of where I've told him several times, do not include Leon. Wait until I've spoken to Leon. And Leon has given us his decision. Do not include Leon.
You told the coach that?
Yes, and do not include Whisper.
As it relates to Richards, who is presumed to be injured,
we're not talking about Whisper's injuries. Whisper is fine.
How is you withdraw Whisper from the invitation?
Listen, we're not talking about withdrawing.
Okay.
We're talking about accepting an invitation.
Oh, I refuse to accept the invitation.
Listen, if the player has to have that right to choose to play or not to play.
Butler's final request related to the addressing of what he feels is a clear conflict of interest at the level of the technical committee chairman, Rudolph Speed. He believes the position should not be held by anyone affiliated to a club.
The people who are in charge of the JFF and are affiliated to the club will know to get the cap so that their players can qualify for a work permit and get a transfer fee. They will put their players into the national team and force feed them into the national team. And when you're in a position where you can choose who the coach is and fire or hire the coach, then you have a serious problem.
As it stands, Bailey remains among the 3 reserves for the Copa America, while Richards was replaced in the squad by Kevin Lambert.
Meanwhile,